I think what I was noticing was that there was a bit of a misperception about what feminism was, that it was a violence against, or that it was a yet another kind of violent polarity in place, where really it's an invitation into further wholeness. So for me, in terms of languaging, I like to use the word feminine movement, because it brings in all the male bodies, anyone who identifies as male, anyone who identifies as female. It brings all the bodies into the picture, and it really looks at the feminine and the masculine in a way that is almost outside of what this body biologically is considered to be by the person. So the feminine movement is what I use more often, just verbiage wise, because it's exploring what the divine feminine is. And for me, I really zoom in on empowered feminine and disempowered feminine. And then I will zoom in on empowered masculine and disempowered masculine. So when we hear the term toxic masculinity, I immediately think disempowered masculine, because masculinity and toxicity, that's oxymoronic, because true masculinity is serviceful, generous, showing up, magnanimity, action, you know? And so toxic masculinity is an oxymoron. So how I see it is, it's a masculine that is disempowered and perhaps not fully fleshed out. And this is in all bodies. And then the feminine, I would say the same too, if there is an apology or if there's a disempowerment around the idea of femininity, and femininity gets its ass kicked every single day, you know, in men bodies, in non-binary bodies, in female bodies. It's the idea of feminine, and if we think of it just in terms of schoolyard, bang, 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 war, boom, 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 it's like it's implied somehow that the gentle, feminine, liquid, mercurial, intelligent, powerful, feminine imperative is somehow terrifying based on it being perceived as potentially weak or less than. Right. So it makes sense to me that people sometimes don't want to take responsibility. And I think taking responsibility is a decidedly empowered feminine approach. So these elements of why are people having such trouble taking true responsibility? Why are we so afraid of crying still in culture? Why is it that patriarchy still has a stronghold? And it's because of the fear of the feminine. And that began years and years and years ago, when patriarchy started taking sort of hold in culture, this fear that somehow there's a better than, worse than. And that's the illusion, right? Because everything is across from or vertical. There is no better than, worse than. That's the illusion. Yet somehow we've been indoctrinated into believing that that's how life works. So we fight with these aspects of ourselves.